Well, we are back with another show, and as I said, this week and next week we cover some of the shares that we received, requests that we received on email, and we maybe give the guys of the Twitter and the WhatsApp maybe a little bit of a cold shoulder. Don't worry, next week we will look after you again. Well, let's have a look at Anglo Gold. Knowles asked about Anglo Gold, and as everybody is so keen on the gold, and the reason why they are keen, remember, when the gold price started to rally and the world got nervous, what happened? Shares like Anglo Gold, can you believe that, was trading in, let's call it late December last year, was trading around 115 Rand a share. And what happened when the hype started to go, it went up to almost 600 Rand a share. And that is good going. But as we know, I always warn about this lamp pole formation. And what happened? There's the lamp pole formation, and it triggers a sell-off. It always happens. And I cannot remember of any share that ever proved us wrong after a rally, and almost you can say unrealistic rally. It always gives you a little bit of a pullback. Even if it gives you a consolidation after a while and it rallies again, it gives you a pullback. So if it rallies, I always beg people, don't chase momentum, because usually you chase it right at the top, and as you think, now we're going all the way to 600, it just falls off a cliff again. So I always wait for a share to pull back, give me some nice turnaround, either candles or a nice formation on the line chart, like this is a weekly chart, and then I'll take it from there. But if we look at Anglo Gold, let's have a look here. This little line tells you that the momentum is still up over the medium term. What is this line telling us? This line tells us that the short-term momentum of this share or trend has turned around. There you are. I mean, that tells you, be careful. And if the share consolidates below, and there you are, 496, and can you see, there's a beautiful negative goodbye kiss. I hope you guys can see it. It bounced up, then it tested this line, and it came back from there. That is negative. When I see that, it always tells me that the share prepared for some new lows. So, Knowles, I think it's time to wait. It broke this trend line, and it can maybe go all the way to test this medium to long-term support line. And where does that lie? That lies at the top of these levels. And let's have a look there. If I draw a line there, and I just give this one a little bit of time, you'll probably find that it can pull back all the way to this place where it consolidated and broke up. So, Knowles, if the sell-off in gold continue, and it looks like it wants to do that, we can easily see Anglo Gold going back to 351.42, and then it will bounce off probably out of this beautiful support line, because there's two. There's one there and there's another one there, and that will be seen as positive. The only thing that you need to worry about, if it breaks that line and it breaks this trend line, it can easily go down much lower. Reason being, gold shares and commodity shares, copper, coal, platinum, all those shares are cyclical. When things are going well at the mines and in their operations, they print money and the share price soars. When things turn around, maybe a stronger rand or even a little bit of a weaker gold price, in the case of Anglo Gold, it can surprise you to the downside. So they are cyclical. When you're right, you're 100% right and you're happy. But when you are wrong, you usually burn your fingers. Well, let's have a look at Harmony. Peter asked about Harmony. Let's have a look and see if this share can maybe surprise us. Harmony, there you are, Harmony Gold. If we look at Harmony here, what happened here? Beautiful rally all the way from 49.50. Classic lamp pole formation, and since the top of it around 120, this is a weekly chart, line chart again, a high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, and even a lower low below that line. And if we look at that, and if we draw this little line in there, where can it go to? I mean, everybody will not believe me. It can go all the way down to come and test this support line. And even if it tests that support line, that doesn't mean that the rally is over and that Harmony will fall on a heap. That just means that the share came back to test a support line. And maybe it can bounce from here like it did there. Now, that's the old thing. Don't chase momentum. It can surprise you and turn around. And I mean, it was a few weeks back that people bought the share close to 120 Rand. And it's sitting now at 86. And they really don't know what to do. Because some of them even don't take a stop loss. And they just thought gold is going to rally on forever. And it turned around. Well, I will just say to you, Peter, just wait. And I will only get positive. The first sign will be if it can take out this low, and that will be at 95.20. That's about 10 Rand from here. So I'll just sit on my hands for a while. Let's have a look at Naspers. Rashid wants to know about Naspers. I mean, this is, of course, the darling of the market. The share can rarely disappoint. I mean, this is a weekly chart. Look at this lamp ball formation, steep rally, little bit of a pullback, steep rally. And what do I see here? I see maybe a little bit of a bullish flag there. I will actually say it came back to test. The big important thing here, it must break that line. And that is at 3,114 Rand. It can maybe surprise us and do the following. There you are. I just want to extend that. If it can break that level of 3,114, it can maybe surprise us and go all the way to the previous high, and that is sitting at around 3,290 Rand. So, bullish chart here. Why? It's a low, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, a higher low. That is positive. That tells you that the medium term to long term investors, they buy on any pullback. Just keep one thing in mind. Naspers is nothing else than a proxy of the Eastern Tencent. That means if the Nasdaq comes under pressure in America, Tencent will probably also come under pressure and Naspers will follow suit. But at the moment, the chart looks beautiful, high above that. But if you need to use a stop loss, there's a stop loss of 2,874. Only problem with Naspers, it's an expensive share. The stop losses are big, so trade small and don't burn your fingers too much money at a time into a stock which is expensive. It can really surprise you. Let's have a look at the favorite of the market, CECIL. Everybody asked about CECIL a while back, and now everybody is dead quiet. Why? Because CECIL rallied from about 20, let's call it 25 Rand, all the way up to 155 Rand, and it rallied beautifully. Look what happens here. This is now the weekly chart. This is now the important thing. This little line tells us the story. And I looked at this line a couple of times a week, and I said to myself, look what happens here. It is playing around with this resistance line. Why is it a resistance? Every time that it got to this line, it found some sellers. Yes, we did see a beautiful rally, but what happened? Every time that it pulled back away, too far away from this line, it came back to test. It fell way off the cliff, came back to test. For me, it must turn this line into a support. And what? This is the important thing. That's the level for me to watch. And the reason why do I say that? It tested this line once, twice, 3 times, and this level waits at 160 Rand. CECIL needs to break above 160 to give us a new move to the upside. Why? Because in the last couple of weeks, what do we see? We see a consolidation, and I explained before, what is a consolidation other than informed investors trying to find out if the share offers value. And we're on the brink of breaking this consolidation to the downside. And below 133 Rand, it can maybe go all the way down to 103 Rand, even 100 Rand. And maybe if it carries on, it can go as low as 88 Rand 80 cents. So for me, it must break above this line to turn this ugly resistance line into a support and to break this consolidation to the upside And I will believe that if that can take place, what will we see? Very interesting. If that takes place, is another formation that will surprise us. And look what we see. We see then a beautiful cup and handle formation. There's the handle, there's the cup, and if it breaks this line, you can bet your dollar it will go a little bit higher, and it can easily go then to about 240 Rand. But it's early days, it needs to break that line. What worries me is a little bit this handle here of the cup. There's a few tests here, and usually we want a test, a pullback and a test through and goes through, but it didn't do that. So let's wait. It needs to show its oomph before we can get excited. Let's quickly look at Old Mutual before our time runs out. And Mandla asked about Old Mutual. Now, Mandla, just look at the share here. It's also on a brand new low. Look what happens here. Let's just have a look. And for me, if a share is on a brand new low, I just sit put and I say, just wait for it. Don't rush in. For me, it needs to break above this line of 10 Rand 14 cents. And for me, most important, it needs to turn this resistance line into a support. And that will only be above 12 Rand 67. Yes, I know everybody say they pay a good dividend. They below asset value. They are at good value at these levels. But I don't like this. I'm a little bit nervous. I will only buy above this line. And when it breaks above that line, I will use a stop loss of 11 Rand 35. And I will say, even then, it can maybe give us a beautiful bounce. In shares like this, where it consolidates, move lower, consolidates, move lower, it's sometimes better to wait for a proper break. Well, visit our website, www.fransdeklerk.com for more info. All the best.